Yo, welcome back to the BST4 channel. Wingnuts, what's going on? What's happening? I know what you guys are gonna say. Dude, you ain't been on the video in a good minute. Me and my wife, we were brink to getting a divorce all the way. She said it, I said it. 9 months we went without intimacy at all in the same house, beefing hard, you know, and my arrogance added up fuel to the fire. Her resilience added onto it, and man, we were just not in a good space, man. It just took a long time, and if I would have made a video, you would have heard that in my voice as far as being pissed and angry. But I do have to give you that bit of information. I mean, look at Adam LZ. Go ahead and Google and see what situation he's in. All right, and that happened twice. You know, it seems like my man can't hold the chick. It's just the way it is. When you're doing this car thing and you're trying to be successful in whatever you're trying to do, you know, there's going to be some pros and cons, and there's going to be some pluses and there's going to be some minuses. On my route, it's just difficult because I have kids, different personalities, different households, and that's all my doing. You know, not that to blame anybody else, but it's all my doing, and I'm trying to balance it all out, and it's very difficult. And as of me right now, I'm inside a junkyard looking for an engine harness, because I need one for a 4.6. And anybody who has an engine harness for a 4.6 Crown Victoria, old school Crown Vic from like 96 to 2004, I need an engine harness ripped out. Nothing, man. But that's okay. So I'm out here with you guys, and we out here just looking and being nosy. There ain't much here to look at. But I need that harness. But if you guys out there have a Crown Victoria, a Crown Vic, mainly an Interceptor, don't really matter if it's an Interceptor or not, but I just need a daggone engine harness, complete. I need everything. If you got one, let me know. If you got one that goes inside the engine bay to the ECU and you cut that mug off nice and smooth, I need that also. And as I'm thinking while I'm here, I need something. Maybe this one over here, because this one looks like they took a lot of stuff out. I need something. Let's see if, oh, I got a copy. I know what I need. I need that OB2 port. Gosh, I never thought I need a whole Crown Vic harness, and now I do. And this is, I need it. Once I get it, then I can tell you once I have it what it's for. As of right now, can't really tell you, but I need it, bro. And I need it. But anyway, let me keep you guys updated on what's going on at the house. On the last video, man, we were talking about taking the transmission out of this car here. Well, we did it. It wasn't no 1, 2, 3 days. I just did it all in one day. And that's it right there, down on the ground. So, along with that, right, this daggone downpipe. This is the issue, man. For me anyway, right around there. Scraping on the ground, bro. No good, no bueno. I gotta figure this out. What I'm starting to think about is that I'm just gonna raise the car up. Probably be a lot better. Instead of running 18s, run 19s with a little bit of meat just for the clearance, or I gotta put the car back up to stock height, which I don't wanna be bothered with that. No way. So, anyway, this clutch here is from a 5.8 Windsor, right? Push rod V8. As you can see, man, it lines up with the flywheel or pressure plate from the modular engine. 11-inch clutch, man, still 11-inch. What we got to do is, man, we got to really make sure this thing fits. Screw doesn't go in. Go to the next one, goes right through. That one doesn't go through because that one you don't use. See, doesn't go through. That one goes through. This one doesn't go through. That one goes through. It's that one. All right, brothers, skipping scenes, man. It's been a couple of months. In that video, you were probably thinking, you know, oh, man, it's nice. No, it's cold outside right about now. Now I got to put this stuff in because I forgot to put this in. I don't think I put enough in the first time. But we're going to make sure that we have some up in here. So we can leave it just like that, and we can go outside and let me show you what happened with the flywheel, or the clutch pressure plate, I should say. Right now, this was the template that I made to go off of this one, because this is the right one that's on there, I did not have it like this. See how everything lines up? Everything lines up perfectly, even down to there. Now this is where I messed up at. And you can see in this video, right? You see that the pressure, I welded. Now the reason why I had to weld it, because of this thing here. I had it the wrong side. Now, if you put it like this, right, and you can see all the holes line up. I done behind, put it on the pressure plate the wrong way. And as you can see, the hole on the dowel pin does not line up. So I had to weld it and put it all together that way. Now, to show you how much time has went past, I even got 2 dogs in that process of, you know, the house being in disarray, and 2 dogs. And then what would end up happening, we end up keeping 1 dog, and this is what he looks like now. And that joker is big and crazy playful. Now, what's under here? Well, we had a situation. Now, this thing here is legit now. Before, it was cockeyed, like turning like this way. Now, this thing is protruding all the way out. Now it's straight. Now it gives a straight shot. I had to remix it 2 or 3 times. As you can see, pressure plate is inside there, looking decent. And then on top of it, I rewrapped underneath here. It's not the greatest job, it's just to get it done, you know. I don't need this one. I would take this bung out. Or no, I don't need it. Probably I don't need that one either. That was just overkill. I didn't need those things. I'm gonna probably take those out. And then right there in the front, you probably can't see it. Let me show you. Right here, bend this up a little bit and then weld it all up in here, and then I filled all in here. So now I have a skid plate. So this would be fine. Again, like I said, my little wire job wasn't the greatest. I just needed to get it done. And see, this one here is the exhaust. Now this one here is cockeyed. If you can kind of see it. I messed that up, so I have to make a pipe that goes right in between that little opening over there. But for right now, it'll do. You know, everything else is okay. This power steering is leaking because I don't have the right fitting on the pump when I first did it. Now I got the right fitting, I know how to do it. So this one was, this whole car is just a prototype of everything. So I had to go and redo everything down to the exhaust and everything like that. So right now, head games. We got 2 heads that we got to get done some kind of way. We don't have a lot of money, so we're going to end up doing it ourselves. Now, what we did with this one here, right, and the other one, we took all of the little rocker followers, whatever you want to call them, we took them out. All right, so we got the head as flat as can be. But right now we're going to slap some water in each one of these little ports, and we're going to do that on the exhaust side also. So this is the intake side and everything. Now mind you, this motor here is I think it's a 150,000 mile motor that wasn't really taken care of that well. It threw a rod, blah blah blah, and blah blah blah. So what we're going to do now is check and see if we get leakage in the valves. Mind you, if you got a 4.6 and it's old, yours is leaking too, bro. So let's go ahead and pour some water in there. Yeah, as you can see, this one is down, this one is still up, and this one is still up. So this one not really leaking. So you see a little drop there, nothing crazy, nothing major. This one here definitely crying, because this is the one that is losing fluid. Obviously you can see right here, you see the rust there from when I did it the last time. And this one here leaks, but it's not as bad, but you can see a little bit of drops that's right there. But still full, but it leaks a little bit. There you go. This is a good starting point. Kind of know what you're dealing with, all right? So if you have an old 4.6 double overhead cam, your joint is leaking, bro. Especially if it's old and worn, it's leaking. All right, so we put some water in the exhaust side now, all right? This one here is leaking. As you can see, it's tearing up. This one here, legit, nothing's going on with it. Now this one here is leaking just a little bit. You can see there. Now this one here, this is the one that the valve's got to be broken or bent or whatever is going on with it. Pour some in there. Oop, god dang it. It's just pouring right on out. Look. It's coming right on out. So more than likely this valve is bent. Because I remember I told you, I could see the pistons got tapped by a valve. Skip a couple scenes, took everything apart. Now we down to this last spring here. I've just been using the old school method. Just a real simple way to take this thing apart. Files come in your hand, spring and everything. I learned that from my man Big Ed, my mentor on this whole head situation. I watched this done for like around 10, well, how long I've been working with Big Ed at the time? Probably around like maybe 5 years, man. And I was just watching and learning, man. And this is what he taught me. Now we're gonna check all the valves, see if they come out real easy. And they are, which is good. All these slid out pretty daggone well. So these are all straight, allegedly. This one has a little bit of resistance, not bad, but if you've seen the piston, it seemed like it wasn't gonna come out. Well, we're looking good, which is good. I'm with this. System right now is an unconventional way of valve lapping, but it does work. And then what we did was we finished all the valves up traditional style, just with the, you know, the fire to wood method, and we got this looking good. Except these two valves here, these are ones that were leaking really bad on both sides, exhaust and intake. And now this is the back of the head on the 4.6 double overhead cam. The way the cooling system goes, it just goes here and it stops, and then this back here heats up. If you guys do any pressure testing on your car with these type of style heads, go ahead, check it out. Bet you the back cylinders are losing compression due to this situation here. Now these need to be done, so we got to take these to the shop and get everything situated. And obviously in the background you see that it is snowed now. Yeah, man. And the crazy thing is, we picked this car up in the snow last year, and it's right here in the snow this year, full year. This car has been sitting here, and man, we really got to get this thing underway. Yo, man, thank you guys for watching this episode of Build Something TV, man. Hope you guys were enlightened, man. Thanks for rocking with me, man. It's a slow journey, very unconventional, going through things. I'm still pushing on with life, with these videos and everything, man. And just thank you for the support for those who watch. If you're just watching for the first time, I know you're going to see the video count is going to be around 200. You know, that's just how it works now. You know, the algorithm is off, and I'm not doing as much videos as I should. I'm just trying to keep my head afloat and my house decent. And yeah, we got to get these done here, man. Guy wanted $70 just to do these two right here. Just think about that, $70. And I went and bought 2 new valves to install in them. So what we're gonna do is just get that done on the next video and start pulling apart the car, the engine also. Doing each head one by one, so I can have all, you know, just keep a track of things properly. All right, see you guys.